things theology, all things theology. We chop it up properly, without an apology. Gotta give that theology to God, hollow be, cause this is how we do it at all things theology.
I want to hear sermons that actually are what the scriptures are saying. But Jamal ain't gonna never give you that. Jamal gonna give you whatever the text is saying ain't never the point, right? But let's get into it. Look, let's start it off real. Look, we got to get right into it. Come on.
Jen, I want to ask you a question because I don't know all of your.
Now, before we get into the sermon, some of you spectators have already noticed the MLK sweatshirt, which is wild that this man would be wearing that.
How dare you?
I mean, this is literally this sermon was like a day or 2 days after the news that dropped from the files, the secret files. I mean, much of that was known, but it was actually, from my perspective, I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know this man was like having Diddy parties. I mean, using civil rights to get some tail, that's crazy to me, man.
You got to stop doing that. You've got to stop doing that.
But then I started to think, why would a pastor be wearing that? Is it because they might be doing a little the same thing? Hey, I'm not accusing Jamal of doing anything, even though we know it's in the past. He done wilding out from his own admission, right? So it's like Jamal, MLK, same thing, right? Oh, it's terrible. But all right, let's hear this. This was like before the sermon, right? So let's hear what he got to say here.
Friends, I don't know all of your family, but those of you who lost a friendship around money, would you raise your hand? No matter what section you're sitting in, raise that hand. Put that hand down. If you're in this room and right now, N-A-H, right now, you got somebody who owes you money, would you raise your hand?
Now, I want you to see this build up because this was crazy how he used this setup. Look, we already know where this is going, but how it gets there, we don't know. Where did you come from? Where did you go? We know our offering coming. You got to give some money, right? But let's hear what he's got to say.
Right now. Look at that. Put that hand down.
Give me my money.
I got to ask you a question. I got to ask you a question. Looking at this conversation we having right now, I wonder what God is thinking about the amount of people who owe him money. Here's the catch. They owe him money and they sitting in his house.
No.
What?
I'm tired of the church.
Come on.
I got bread in my pocket. Bread in my pocket. I got bread in my pocket. I got bread in my pocket. I got bread in my pocket.
Serious moment. Have you been injured in a tithing accident? Call J.G. Wentworth. He'll get you right.
And I need cash now.
Call J.G. Wentworth. 877 cash now.
Tell him K-Dub sent you. But so apparently if you owe money to somebody owe money to you, that's some kind of parallel to how, bro, how you owe money to God? Like, I mean, does it collect interest? Like, what does this matter? I mean, the Bible's more so we owe him our life. I mean, but tithers, word of faith preachers, always going to see the connection to money. Oh yeah, you know he doing it, right?
Gaslight. I'm thinking that's some type of arsonist.
Yeah, so apparently, so we owe God money. And how do we pay him back? Tithing to Jamal Bryant's church, of course. How convenient. Isn't that convenient? Oh my goodness. I mean, how much is this debt? I guess the cross debt don't pay. Jesus paid it all, but not that. It's crazy.
They owe him money. Here it is. And they up screaming his name as if nothing has happened. Many of us in this room ought to be giving God glory that God didn't cut us off because of how we handled his resources, how we handled his finance. Y'all still ain't gonna give God glory?
Notice he's arguing like, man, we should be glad God didn't cut us off because of how we tithe. Come on.
More members, more money. More members, more money. More members, more money. More members, more money.
Because more members, more money, more money, more members. Imagine getting cut off because you missed tithing 1 week or a couple weeks, or you just got saved and your whole life you ain't tithing. God's like, you owe me back pay. This is crazy.
Do you know how many of us God should have just cut holes in our pocket? Because we were the ones that prayed, God, if you get me this job, God, if you stop the foreclosure, if you stop the eviction, I promise I'm going to serve you.
Yeah, a lot of people prayed unbiblical prayers. I hate those prayers because it's trying to make a deal with God. God, man, if you don't get her pregnant, I promise I'll serve you. You know how many pagans that pray dumb prayers like that? What you want God to escape you from the results. But what if God don't? Will you still come to him? See, that's why I never liked prayers like that. And he's just echoing all the unbiblical prayers that he's prayed himself. Shout out to the Super says, Craig Blomberg's book, Neither Poverty or Riches, explain in detail how Jesus fulfilled each aspect of the tithe. Recommend. Yeah, check that out, guys. But yeah, let's keep listening to this.
Then when Sunday morning comes, I'm going to see.
It sounds personal.
When it is that we're called into tithing, I wonder how many people are losing their relationship with God because of how they've handled his finance.
So but now we losing our relationship with God because how we handled our finance. And notice, this ain't even because you're not giving. Notice for them, because they do tithes and offerings. So you ain't giving your 10% and the bonus. So you don't lost your relationship with God because of you don't have enough to give. This is just crazy.
How it is that God has given exceedingly abundantly beyond what we can think, dream, hope, or even imagine. And God is saying, all I ask for you to do in return is to give me 10% of. Don't even give back to me everything that I gave to you.
So let's hear this straight. Let's hear this straight. So he's like, God gives you abundantly, exceedingly, all that. And all I ask you to do is give me 10%. I mean, first of all, that ain't even all the Christian life, tithing. But notice the pinnacle of the Christian life has to do with tithing for Jamal Bryant. Jamal MLK Bryant. That's what we're going to call him.
Just give me a portion of it. And there you are sitting in church, watching online with stolen clothes on. You in a rush to go to brunch and pay for it with stolen money.
But look at all this manipulation, though, to get them to give. He's essentially saying everything you got is stolen because you ain't giving it to the church. That's crazy.
You're going to leave out of here and get in a stolen car. Because every good and every perfect gift comes from God, and yet you won't acknowledge who is the source of your life. You can't make me doubt him. I know too much about him. As a consequence, nobody should have to beg you to give to God.
No. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
What'd you say now, Chuck?
That's right. I'm thinking that's some type of arsonist.
This whole sermon so far, this whole intro has been nothing but him begging. He's like, I shouldn't have to beg. Well, don't. But he ain't too proud, Mr. Temptation.
But when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, my soul cries out. Here's how Grandma was saying, if it had not been for the Lord on my side, I don't know where it is that I would be.
Now, Grandma wasn't collecting tithes. I know that. Grandma was in some mess. She was hitting Grandpa with that greasy frying pan, but she wasn't collecting tithes, though. All right, well, let's actually get into the I was going to say the meat of the sermon, but there wasn't no meat. This is all bone. Matter of fact, that bone even got poison in it. So let's check out the intro text so you can see where he's at.
Read together with uplifted voices. Then the sailors said to each other, come, let us cast lots to find out who is responsible for this calamity. They cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. The person beside you are just waking up. They haven't had coffee yet. We're going to try it one more time with a little bit more vim, vigor, and enthusiasm. Jonah chapter 1, verse 7. Come on, everybody. Then the sailors said to each other, Bless the Lord. You may be seated. Then the sailors said to each other, "Come, let us cast lots to find out who is responsible for this calamity." They cast lots, and the lots fell on Jonah. I want to preach for a little while today using as a subject surviving a situationship. Surviving a situationship. Would you look at the person beside you and tell them, please pray for my friend?
Oh my goodness.
No.
So that was the title of the sermon, surviving a situationship. Now you may be asking yourself, what does that have to do with anything he just read? That's a great question.
Why you always lying?
That is a great question. Like, what does that actually have to do with Jonah? And much of his sermon had nothing to do with a situationship. Now, you know what a situationship is, right? It's a uncommitted relationship where two people get together and they ain't married. They ain't really even dating, but they fooling around. Now, I know Jamal Bryant done had too many of those to count, but that's what the situationship is. Just letting you know, just in case you're not up on a little millennial lingo, right? Or Gen Z lingo, right? But let's get into some more of this, because all you're going to hear in much of this sermon, as I like to call it, it's your little, you got to actually set the key of the sermon. me, because that's all you're going to hear.
George Frazier famously said, if you surround yourself with 4 broke people, you'll be the 5th one. If the people around you are not fruitful, you will not multiply. Today, ladies and gentlemen, while most of us who are in this room are fully acclimated with the story of Jonah, I don't want to put any of my sermonic emphasis on him as much as I want us to pay attention to the sailors who were with him. In Western thought, we are so engrossed in the central character that we undervalue the supporting cast.
So the point of this sermon is going to be about the sailors. Now, if you actually read the text, the passage doesn't tell you who they are at all. I mean, you don't know anything about them except that they're sailors. I mean, that's it. But you think that's going to be his point? Or matter of fact, we've kind of already told you, he's still going to preach that anyway. And you're going to see some crazy parallels he tries to draw from these sailors.
Michael Jordan is one of the greatest players of all time, but Scottie Pippen's assists made it possible. Barack Obama, out of his own mouth and off the pages of his memoir, said he wouldn't have achieved his level of success if Michelle wasn't by his side. Dr. King never organized a march, he just spoke at it.
No.
And we don't want King. We don't want King. We don't want no Marxist, communist adulterer. That's why he wearing a little hoodie. Because you got a lot more in common with King than you do Jonah here in the passage.
What was his secret strength was who was surrounding him.
Marxists.
And Ambassador Andy Young, Reverend Ralph Abernathy, Sister Zenona Clayton, Reverend C.T. Vivian, and Bayard Rustin. New Birth is soaring with the aid of the Holy Spirit. And while it is that you may know me, you may recognize Jonathan, you identify with Pastor Carey, there's a team that makes this work.
Now, all of them probably in some mess, except Tony the custodian, because he cleaned up y'all mess.
No.
Right? So pointing these people out, and if you actually look, they're just like a lot of, you have your magician, your social media, your media person, and events. None of these people actually do anything like biblically. Maybe the musician, but he's probably singing heresy as well. It's nonsense. And good comment here. It says the sailors worship the other gods, but came to acknowledge the God Jonah was being disobedient to. Yeah, great point. Great point. Now, you think any of this got brought out his actual sermon? I hate to be the spoiler alert, but you're gonna be amazed at what this sermon actually turns into. So let's play our next clip.
When he went to the opposite direction, ladies and gentlemen, he bought a ticket and got on a small fledgling ship. It wasn't a fleet. It was just one ship. And they were so excited to have business that they took the money without any question. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say to you, you can't take money from everybody. Kids are taught don't take money from strangers. If you've been in Atlanta, you know don't take money from scammers. Seniors will tell you do not take money from people overseas. Entrepreneurs, please don't take money from people who have strings attached. And in the culture and the climate that we are presently in, where there is such a diabolical intention to dismantle black business and the black economic infrastructure, we got to be clear about who we make allegiances to.
So allegedly this sermon is about who you go into business with, who you are partnering with, especially the black community, because we all know the white man. You know, you already know how these social justice leaders, the white man is out to get, boy, them white people ain't studying you. Do your thing and them white people will stay out of your way. You know, but you keep calling them racist every 5 minutes when they ain't doing nothing but raising they 5 kids and the dog. They might clap back a little bit, right? But what does this have to do with Jonah? Nothing. We're telling you already, right? Let's see. What do we got next? Oh yeah, check this one out.
Because of one person on the ship. One person almost destroyed an entire business.
No. How dare you?
So now he's about to make this whole point about how one person can destroy your business. Is that the point of Jonah? Actually, there's a great parallel that Jesus brings up about the sign of Jonah being resurrection, right? Where Jonah was presumed to be dead, but he was brought back to life. He was in a deadly situation, right? And he was brought back to life. Jesus uses this as a sign of resurrection, that he himself will be that sign. Great. There's some great Christological connections, things like that. I keep asking this question, but you already know the answer. You think any of that got brought out?
Y'all not hearing what I'm saying to you? One person on board almost messed up so many countless people's destiny.
Now, I think this is a little personal. I think Jamal got a business and there's somebody out there, I think it's Donald Trump, who's trying to ruin his black-owned business. I think this is personal for him. We'll see why later.
That the storm is dealing with winds and waves and trying to maintain, and they're not sure how they're going to do it, because if they had looked at the 5-day weather forecast, there was no storm in sight. There were no clouds that gathered.
Shout out to the GOAT, Blake 3, yo.
Let him cook! I said, let him cook!
Gifting out memberships out here.
There was no tropical warning. All they knew is as soon as they got on the ship, as soon as Jonah got on the ship, that's when the storm came. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm no meteorologist, I'm a theologian, but I want.
No. Why are you lying, sir?
Why you always lying?
You are not a theologian. You none of those things. You're a politician in a pulpit. So don't fool us.
I tell you, it's been a storm in America since Monday.
So watch the connection. So notice the storm in the boat that Jonah experienced and all the sailors that were there because of Jonah. Watch the connection he brings out and says, hey, there's a storm in America now.
This ship of this nation is going topsy-turvy. Anytime they release 1,200 convicted, violent insurrectionists who tried to take over the government, but we got black men who are being flushed in the prison pipeline.
Hold on a second, sir. I saw those videos of that insurrection, man. That was not violent. Again, were they foolish? 1,000%. 1,000%. But police were letting them in. And so, of course, you got to say, hey, black people are falsely in prison, in prison, right? They're just falsely accused, Now, are some people? Sure, of course, right? A government is not infallible, right? But most people in there because they did some wild stuff. How is this a Jonah type situation? Jonah was actually running from the word of God. They just flat out just being rebellious, right? Just nonsense. I mean, let's keep going.
I'm telling you, this ship is in trouble. When it is that they are sending ICE agents into public schools in Chicago to arrest children and to put them in cages, this ship is in trouble.
Let me say this. That ain't all they need to be doing in Chicago, aka Chirac. But look, you have a lot of illegal immigrants, some of them participating in outright wickedness, killing people. Look, there are procedures in how you are to enter a nation. I mean, that's how it should be. I mean, yeah. Carlos, he says, wait, how about the murderers and PDF files, Biden pardon? Yeah. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about the storm right before this man got out of the office? He was. I mean, Fauci. Now you know all those people were committing major crimes. Fauci, all his family, but. Yeah. His own church is in a storm. He worried about the nation.
When it is last night, they sent 500 armed military to the border of Mexico to aggressively push back those who are yearning to breathe free. And it doesn't matter whether it is women or children, they have been licensed to take force. This ship is in trouble. Anytime they said that DEI is now illegal, and if public schools teach black history, they will lose their federal funding.
That's not what it was said. No one said you can't preach Black History Month, although I'm not the biggest fan of Black History Month. And let me tell you my reasoning, because I don't want to be reminded, because every time they talk about black people, it's about slavery, like hardship. And then you talk about every other culture, it's about conquerorship. Like, black people did more than suffer. Like that's why I don't like Black History Month for the most part. But what he's actually trying to pinpoint is they were saying we're getting rid of critical race theory. That's what we're getting rid of. In DEI needs to get rid of. I'm gonna share a tweet. Of what I tweeted recently, or X. I refuse to call it X. Look at this, what I said. I'm responding to this young lady here. She said, it's really disturbing how many of you who are against DEI don't think black and brown folk are as smart and as skilled as white folks, when it's actually the opposite. And the reason we need DEI is the racism that leads you to think that in the first place. And I pushed back on this. I said, because black and brown people are smart is why we don't need DEI. Here's my reasoning. Pre-civil rights produced some of the best black minds, like Booker T. Washington, that didn't whine about lack of opportunities, but made their own lane. Won't give me a job? Fine. I'll start my own and be your competitor. Right? That's the issue. I guess someone said so. I guess I said something someone didn't like, right? No, look, you won't hire me because I'm black. Guess what? I will start my own company and be a competitor just to be petty to you. No. Right? Man, I was going somewhere. I had a thought. Let me see if it comes back to me. Oh, here it is. Racism actually doesn't benefit a company. You know why? Because if you're a true businessman, you don't care who buys your product. Black, white, Hispanic, you're colorblind. And actually, you talk about some of these. I refer to Thomas Sowell in his book, Discrimination and Disparities, some of companies and some like sports teams who actually were the last to integrate actually suffered the most and probably are still just now coming ahead of the chain, so to speak. I'll give you an example with basketball. Basketball, the teams who integrated the last and stay segregated were trash, because y'all know the brothers could hoop. The brothers could hoop. They wanted it. Why you think Bill Russell had 10 rings? Look, if you were segregated, 6'10" Bill Russell was dunking on that 5'10" center all day, bro. And so that's why I hate this. I hate this victim mentality. Oh, I can't get ahead because the white man. No, bro. Black people historically have not thought like that. That's why I'm a huge fan of Booker T. Washington. Y'all need to watch Uncle Tom too. He will probably be one of your favorite Americans. I love Booker T. Washington because guess what? This dude came out of slavery. You want to talk about someone who was actually behind the chain? He came out of slavery and had a mindset that said, we're going to build our own. Go and read about how Harlem was initially purchased, because Harlem used to be an all-white neighborhood. It was purchased by black real estate agents who got their real estate license and became businessmen, bro. Like, black people done some stuff, bro. But you hear Jamal Bryant, all these guys talk about black people, man. You thought we were still in chains. I'm just tired of it, y'all. Where can you stream the movie? It's free on YouTube. Uncle Tom 2 by my man Chad Jackson. Might have to get him on here, man. Talk about some of this stuff. I just don't like this victim mentality. We can't get anything unless white people give us handouts. Unless they give us jobs. Start your own, bro. Sorry. Back to my video.
This ship is in trouble anytime they are intentionally trying to roll back all of the progress that we have made since the signing of the Civil Rights Bill, as if we are on even footing. This ship is...
You see that? It's people like this that have perpetually told black people we're not on even planes. It's black people who perpetuate this actual racism. This is actual racism. You the one that telling black people you won't never get ahead of life because Carl Cajun won't give you that job. By the way, Carl Cajun loves some good Negroes, right? But you guys get my point. It's black people. I heard this stuff growing up. Man, the white man out to get me. Bro, you are too smart, black people too innovative to not make their own. And it is, I think Booker T. Washington who said, it is necessity. Innovation comes about through necessity. They won't give you something, bro. We're going to invent it and we're going to do it better. And I'm going to sell that. And then I'm going to have all those people who didn't give me my job. They business going to be cut down because I'm going to be their competitor. And now they're going to be buying from me. Sorry, man. I get fired up about this stuff, man, because I see how this actually affects black people. Anybody who perpetuates this victim mindset, it actually hurts you. It is not good for you. For the most part, bro, nobody's out to get you. Most people just want to mind their business, bro. Most people want to mind their business. That's me, bro. Just go to work, bro. Go home, and that's it.
In trouble anytime they think we gonna go back to being 3/5 of a human being. This ship is in trouble. The ship is going topsy-turvy, and it's just been 6 days, and y'all sitting there as if you don't need God to do something for you. You better start opening up your mouth, getting in a posture of prayer to say, Lord, if we ever needed you before, we sure do need you now.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of people black people who perpetuate this idea of constant fear. Oh, we's gonna go back to slavery now that Trump's president, even though he was president before, right? This dude got these people actually thinking we about to be going in slavery. Trump is a businessman. He wants the economy. This is just silly, man. This is silly, man, bro. Trump is not about to send you back to slavery, bro. You will be okay. And if they do, I'll be our Moses. Let my people go. I got y'all, man. Look, I know Caucasian. We good around here. We know one around here. But all right, let's get back to this because he's just saying some nonsense.
You may be seated. It is only after they catch him snoozing that the sailors start having questions that they should have asked before they let him on the boat. They asked questions in the storm that they should have asked before they let him on the ship. And when you don't ask the right questions, that's how you end up in a situationship. Where's this going?
Yes, where
Do
is
you
this going?
plan on getting married? Do you have any models of a healthy relationship? What happened in the last two things that you were in? All of them can't be crazy unless you made them go there. I can't hear nobody in here. Was your mama in any healthy relationship? Are any of your friends in any healthy relationship? Don't wait until you get in the storm to ask the question.
And all those questions condemn Jamal Bryant. I mean, my goodness, man.
You got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that.
So apparently what the sailor should have been doing is asking about his situationship. I mean, they didn't even know. They didn't even know that this man was running from God. So how are they supposed to know these things? Oh yeah, Susie makes a great parallel. She says, Jonah slept during a storm and he was unable to do anything. Jesus slept through a storm and he calmed the storm. Jesus is the greater Jonah. Such a good parallel right there. But apparently the lack of their questioning is proof about a situationship. This is just silly, man. This is just outrageous. Well, he's going to go on more about the sailors. Let's hear what he got to say.
In Jonah chapter 1, verse number 5, read it when you get home. Jonah chapter 1, verse number 5, they say the sailors. Jonah chapter 1, verse number 7, here it is. They say the sailors. But isn't it interesting that they never give us the sailor's name? Hallelujah. In this season of your life, you got to tell people, don't put my name in your stuff. Oh my God. If it ain't got nothing to do with me, don't drag me in it. I'm in it, I'm not in it. Don't put my name in none of your drama.
What?
No. You got to stop doing that. You got to stop doing that.
So the sailor's name not being mentioned is proof of, not putting somebody's name in your business. This is just silly, man. This man just reading all sorts of nonsense to the pastor. And shout out to my man, Willie Doc. He says, y'all, please pray for my city. This is bad. We are praying for ATL. We are praying for it. This is silly. The lack of their name is not proof of whatever he just said. This is what you call reading into a passage. This is called perspectivalism. You guys know the $10 word we have on this channel. Perspectivalism. You just reading. This sounds personal too, right? Somebody talk about Jamal. That sounds a little personal, Jamal. Well, I have this one entitled Rant. Let's see what he's talking about here.
Something is mentally wrong with black people who can support this administration. Come on, I can't hear nobody. How do you have absence of self-love that you'll sell your whole people out?
So apparently if you support the Republicans, you're more supportive of Trump, you're a sellout to black people, which kind of says that the Black Party or the Black People's Party is the Democrat Party, which is absurd. And this is the kind of whole, just because you skin folk don't mean we king folk ideology nonsense going on. So because I disagree with you politically, I'm a sellout now. Now, funny enough, historically, historically, black people have been Republicans more. You go watch Uncle Tom 1, the first part. They go into the history of how actually the Republican Party were actually a lot more accepting of black people than the Democrats. There's a reason for that. The Democrats were doing some wild things to black people, But anyways.
To get a paycheck, is there one? Black congressmen, black senators calling the president daddy.
Now, I did hear that. That was cringe. That man was wild for that. He said, daddy's home. I ain't calling another man daddy. That was cringe. I will give Jamal that 1 point. That's it in this rant, though.
Something is wrong with you. Black preachers who said this is who God sent.
If God would have chose Kamala, that would have been who he chose. So, that's a theologically accurate statement. So...
Something is wrong with you. Black people on your job, are you telling me a tax cut is worth selling your people out? Is there one?
Which he's admitting the Democratic Party, which is supposed to be the pro-black party, is going to tax black people more. It's wild. The racist party, aka Republicans, actually want to give more tax breaks to black people. Isn't that ironic?
My time is almost up, but I just want to...
And what did he say that had that lady in tears? Hold on. What did Jamal say that had this woman weeping like she lost her son? Like, this is crazy.
My time is almost up, but I just want to hear the sound of worship of one person who is committed to pray every day. Committed to touch the throne room of God. Committed to be a voice in an atmosphere of people that got laryngitis. Is there not one?
Laryngitis.
It is amazing that bananas always get a bad rap. Because whenever they call somebody crazy, they say they must be bananas. Whenever you stand for the side of justice and righteousness, prepare to be vilified.
So this is quickly turning into a political sermon. And let me just say this, because I know people in the comment section are going to say it. The Republican and the Democratic is not the party of justice. It's not God's party, right? Now, of course, I lean I lean a particular way, but I got issues with the Republicans. I wish they were more. They have bowed the knee too long to the Democratic Party. That's been the problem with the Republicans. They cave so much. Now, hopefully, Trump can do some good. I like some of the things he's done so far, but it's still not the party of God, right? I will say that. I'm as I say all the time, I'm way too conservative for the Democrats, and I'm too conservative for the Republicans. I'm the guy they would probably paint as the extremist, right?
Prepare to be ostracized. They're not going to understand it at the beginning, but I'm telling you, God is going to prove you at the end. If you want to get rid of DEI, fine. Then just give us our reparations.
Man, you don't need no reparations, man. You don't need no reparations. I think it's kind of an insult to say you need reparations, like you the one. You're not even close to the connection of slavery, right? Jamal's living pretty good, demanding reparations.
If it is now based on merit, more black women have master's degrees than anybody else in this country. Hire your sister then.
And I'm cool with hiring their sister depending on the job. If it's a firefighter where you got to carry a grown 300-pound man, no, I don't want no sister on the job. I don't want a woman on the front line military. Sorry, sister. So when we talk about qualifications for a job, it ain't just education. Sometimes it's physical strength. Sometimes it's experience, right? it wanes on depending on the job, right? So just because you have a master's degree, some of the dumbest folks have master degrees. Let me tell you, I have met some dummies with a master's degree, even though we have our PhD in foolishness here. And, you know, that's why we have our degrees here.
60% of all PhDs are now black men, black women in Nigeria.
And let me read a comment from Abe from the Axe. He says something very good. He says, that's the point of getting rid of DEI, Jamal. They want it to be on merit. That's exactly right. So actually, yeah, if you have your master's and you're qualified, those are the perfect candidates for a lot of these jobs. I don't know if I should have downloaded this video. I saw a guy, it was a black guy. He came into Walmart and he's all upset about DEI, Target getting rid of it. DEI. He's, oh, y'all don't want to hire me, Target? Y'all real quiet now. And all these white people like minding their business. They not worried about this dude, right? And y'all don't want to hire me, huh? Y'all don't want to. He acting a plumb fool. Like, bro, if you actually probably filled out an application, you probably would have got a job. But now you done ruined your chance. Like, just acting a plumb fool. Like, bro, a lot of these people are actually saying, like, a lot of these black people are kind of arguing, unless we get these handouts, we ain't going to be nothing. I refuse to believe that about a lot of black people. Now, look, some of y'all, yeah, you probably not. But that's going to be with a lot of people in ethnicities. Anyway, sorry.
We are not a stupid people. We are smart people who just need an opportunity. If you just back up off of us and let us flow, we'll be able to do what God has called us to do.
But who is on you? Who is on you, though? No, you don't want an opportunity. You want reparation. You want handouts. You want handouts. You've already said that, sir.
The sailors cast lots. And when they cast lots, it fell on Jonah. And this is where it gets tight. Jonah is the one who knows he's the source of the storm. And what I wanted to say is, Jonah, if you know you causing the problem, why didn't you just jump off the ship? Y'all ain't gonna like it. Why are you gonna make me force you out? Hallelujah.
By the way, they didn't force him out. Jonah's the one who came up with the plan. Go read the text. I mean, it literally says that. Right? They cast their lots. Tell us who this happened. Right. It's always the Hebrew boy, right? Then they say, hey, what shall we do to you that the sea may be quiet down for us? Jonah says, pick me up and hurl me into the sea. It's Jonah's plan. But do you expect Jamal to know the Bible at all? To where he's like, they forced him out. No, they didn't. He like literally left. He's like, yeah, y'all throw me. Anyways. But the whole sermon has nothing to do actually with Jonah. But he's about to admit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's some people you got to cut off this year.
So the sermon is about cutting people off. No. Sir.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Sir, no, it's not. No, it's not.
I'll do the best I can with what I got.
Oh!
It ain't about cutting people off. Oh, this is so crazy.
Because they're not going to dismiss themselves. They appreciate the benefits of being connected to you. They are living off of the favor that comes off of your life. They think they always gonna have an open door, but I'm releasing you to use the block button. Our time is almost up. I wanted to tell you that my sermon today really ain't even about Jonah.
Sir, that's the truest thing you said all sermon. We know your sermon ain't about Jonah. That's the problem. You're in the book of Jonah. It ain't really talking about Jonah. You talking about this situation shit.
It's about the sailors. And as I close, I want to tell you one last thing. If you'll help me, I need you to take that neighbor by the hand. Just embrace me. I'm finished, but I'm just not through.
somebody's hand.
I got to show you something.
Make this a world a better place.
Today, I'm
if
not
you
preaching
can.
about no whale.
You know what? That was the first time he actually mentioned the fish. He's like 45 minutes into his sermon, and he's finally got to the fish. Like, you would not know this story. I feel sorry for those who like they don't have a Bible. Like, this is their first time hearing any Bible story. They would be so confused.
I'm not talking about Jonah on dry ground fulfilling his assignment. I got to close Mystery Theater by telling you about the sailors. That once they got Jonah off the ship, listen to me, their storm stopped. And once they got Jonah off the ship, they made it to where they were trying to go. I need you ever so gently just squeeze that neighbor's hand. That's the sign and the confirmation that they need, and they didn't even know they needed it. God said, do you know why 2025 is going to be so good for you? I had to wait to get one person out of your life.
So, is this sermon about getting Republicans out of your life? I am literally so confused, and I have my PhD in foolishness. This sermon deserves to be in the trash can. You got to avoid Jamal Bryant like the plague. Terrible. Terrible. Oh, grace and peace. Thank you for watching another episode of All Things Theology. If you enjoyed what you heard today, go on and give me a like. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. I promise to give you weekly lives, videos, interactions, exposing false teachers, sharing with you, the viewer, my theological beliefs, things about the culture, and the Bible. So if you're here for that, come on and join us. Also, if you would like to support this channel financially, you can do so by becoming a Patreon member or a YouTube member. Links are in the description below. You can see content before it drops. You can also have Q&A sessions with also other Patreon members, YouTube members as well. So if you would like that, hit the description link in below.